the amount of asteroids that are in there together, the one ahead and trailing Jupiter, are about the same as the asteroid belt. And we've never seen any one of them. So what we hope to do is go and really fly by these asteroids, a whole collection of them, and then really understand these building blocks of the solar system. So we try to do, looking at these bodies, especially looking at the asteroids now, is really learning about the building blocks of our own solar system, and then learning about from these about how really it all came together. We're part of that solar system. We are here because of how these pieces actually came together and created planets. And that's really what we seek to learn from this particular analysis. Or we think that the understanding of threats of the Earth are a really critical part of analyzing asteroids and especially near-Earth objects. So yes, later this year, we're actually going to launch a mission called DART, which is all about learning how to redirect one of those bodies that we would see coming into Earth. This particular one is no threat to Earth. It's out there, and we can go visit it and kind of learn how to impart momentum. But it's really critical for us to do two things. The first one is to learn about every threat to the Earth by investigating the deep sky, both from the ground, but also from space. And then the second one is to learn how to deflect such threats if they occur. To me, the Trojans, I want to tell you, are just the least known populations right now out there in the solar system. So we think they hold a lot of information about the origin of the solar system, and we need to go unlock that. So for me, the most exciting part is really to visit these objects for the first time and to learn. Of course, that's enabled, and I need to tell you, kind of technically, it's enabled by one of the most crazy orbits I've ever seen in any mission design. 12 years, flying by the Earth 3 times, and that orbit is just absolutely incredible. So for me, that's the secondary, like just technically, kind of making that orbit work just seems absolutely stunning. The orbit is really shaped because of two issues. The first one is the location of these Trojans are all the way at Jupiter distances, even exceeding Jupiter distances, but really 60 degrees or so ahead and behind Jupiter. So there are clouds out there really far out. So that's problem number one. The second one is we have, relatively speaking, small amount of propulsion on our spacecraft, right? It's very hard to fly and redirect the spacecraft kind of at Jupiter distances and so forth. So to come up with a solution to this, the orbit designers came up with an orbit that, of course, starts at Earth, has some of propulsion, but really uses the Earth to catapult it out into the areas where we want to investigate. Asteroid missions in the past, many of them visited 1 or 2 asteroids. So if you want, this one is 8 missions in one, because we're visiting 8 such bodies. And then as we go forward, of course, the question about the history of the solar system, in other areas, especially out there with new horizons in the Kuiper belt, will be with us. But what's also going to be interesting is really the question whether these asteroids are providing resources for us that's a question we're also interested in so many of these investigations. For me, the excitement about Lucy is also about how this team behaved during COVID. On the rocket, there's an inscription that's called Lucy Strong. And it's really their own battle cry. Frankly, it seems almost unlikely that we're ready to launch this. I just want you to know that team really has excelled over and above what is normally expected from teams. They're here on day one of the launch window, ready and fully tested with a spacecraft ready to go. And that, talks about their commitment and their kind of perseverance during this time in the last year and a half. So for me, when I see a team like this, gives me a lot of hope for the possibilities of doing big things